Good day, good people, and welcome to Whisky and Smoke News Network, your weekly whiskey, cigar, pipe, and pipe tobacco program, where we cover the news, new releases, upcoming events, and we throw in an interview with someone in the industry or someone who is industry adjacent for good measure. We may sometimes be a bit cheeky, we may even sometimes be a bit scholarly, but providing you with some entertaining content for the next hour or so is our ultimate goal. With all of that being said, please remember that you must be the appropriate age in your home country to watch or listen to this program, which is usually 18 or 21 years old. So if you're not of the appropriate age in your home country, please stop watching or listening now. But please do come back to the program when you are of the appropriate age. This is episode 14 from March 1st, 2026. My name is Chris Kumnick, and I'll be your host. Let's go ahead and take a little sneak peek of this week's Pop the Cork in-person interview with Tim Huels of the Whisky Blendery in Oak Point, Texas. We talk about his background before starting the Whisky Blendery, how the Whisky Blendery came about, his thought process on picking barrels, as well as a blend of other topics. Let's take a look.
So in my mind, there was always something like, hey, can I create an experience-driven something in Texas? Like, right. Where would I want to go? Yeah. Because all the distilleries, especially in Texas, you know, they're a lot of them are proud of their Texas grains and their process, and it's 100% Texas. Yes. But at that time, when I was thinking about this, I mean, a 3-year-old bourbon was old. Right. And it was, age statements are in months, not years. Correct. Yeah. And it has its own swim lane, and it's gotten way better. But that wasn't the Texas whiskey wasn't what I normally gravitate toward.
All of that with Tim and more, but first, the news. In whiskey news, President Donald Trump has raised global tariffs on imported products from 10% to 15% just one day after the Supreme Court ruled against his previous levy, describing the decision as ridiculous, poorly written, and extraordinarily un-American in a Truth Social post. Invoking the rarely used Section 122 law, Trump imposed the temporary 15% tariff, capped at 150 days, while his administration prepares new legally permissible duties. The move drew sharp criticism from Welsh whiskey maker Penderyn, with CEO Stephen Davies warning of threats to jobs, investment, and UK craft distilling revival, as well as higher US prices and fewer choices. Trade groups including the Distilled Spirits Council of the US, DISCUS, Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of America, and the American Whiskey Association welcomed the court's ruling as a chance to restore zero-tariff trade with partners like EU and UK, emphasizing the need for stable, reciprocal policies to support exporters, jobs, and affordability. The Scotch Whisky Association noted a 15% drop in bottles shipped to the U.S. since the original 10% tariff began in May of 2025. Suntory Global Spirits has confirmed that it will combine the operational teams at its Islay distilleries Bowmore and Laphroaig into a single unit to better align production with long-term demand and maturing inventory levels, following traditional seasonal Scotch industry practices. While there are no compulsory redundancies, a voluntary redundancy program has been opened for affected employees as part of a formal confidential process. Both distilleries will continue producing whiskey, remain strategic priority brands, and keep their visitor centers open, with Suntory planning a significant capital investment program at both sites over the next 3 years. Head of Distilling and Environment Alistair Longwell emphasized the company's commitment to quality, sustainability, island communities, and the long-term health of these iconic brands amid a broader industry slowdown in demand following post-pandemic growth. Virginia Distillery Company has released 3 limited edition American single malt whiskeys, including the First Cut Cigar Blend, a 54% ABV expression crafted specifically to pair with fine cigars. 2 Brewers Coalition Stout Cask Finish releases, first one in partnership with Four Hands Brewing from St. Louis, and another with North Coast Brewing Company out of California. All 3 will be available in limited quantities in February and March 2026 via the distillery website and select U.S. retailers, celebrating collaboration, innovation, and distillery's commitment to pushing the single malt boundaries. that Boutique-y Whisky Company has released a special 5-bottle limited edition collection of single cask whiskeys, selected from over 300 samples by head of whiskey Sam Simons and global ambassador Dave Worthington, all bottled at 45.8% ABV to highlight balance, drinkability, and cask character. The lineup includes a 9-year-old Glen Elgin, finished in Pedro Jimenez sherry casks, with candied orange, raisins, honey, and sticky toffee. A 13-year-old Colilla, finished in ex-American rye, offering coastal smoke, brine, toasted almond, and charred barbecue. A 22-year-old Bushmills Irish single malt, finished in ex-Mare wine, with milky tea, mango, milk chocolate, caramel, and cigar box notes. A 27-year-old Glen Garriock from a refill sherry butt, featuring polished oak, tropical fruit, aged leather, pipe tobacco, and a dark chocolate. And a 33-year-old Dumbarton single grain from a refilled hogshead with sweet cereal, vanilla wafers, tropical fruit, coconut, spearmint, and cedar. All 5 expressions are now available from Masters of Malt in 700 milliliter bottles. The Spirits Group has opened the Blending House, a 30,000 square foot blending and bottling facility on 108 acres in Shelbyville, Kentucky, built in partnership with the Coder Group to help spirits brands scale production, protect quality, and navigate industry challenges without building their own infrastructure. Capable of handling up to 250,000 cases annually at 30 to 45 bottles per minute, the state-of-the-art site features 7 advanced rickhouses with innovative K-Racks premium barrel storage system, a custom bottling line for formats from 200 milliliters to 1.75 milliliter automated and artisanal packaging options, a dedicated sensory lab led by master blender Ashley Barnes, and a comprehensive back-office support including logistics, labeling, regulatory guidance, marketing, and distribution. CEO Monica Wolf-Brown emphasized that the facility, unique in Kentucky and the U.S., prioritizes bottling as its core mission, allowing brands to focus on growth without capital burdens, while Director of Operations Matt King highlighted its flexible customer-first design. Founded in 2017 in Louisville, the Spirits Group aims to provide reliable, high-quality, post-distillation services for evolving spirits producers. Barrel Global has partnered with Banijay Rights, the global distribution arm of Banijay Entertainment behind the Peaky Blinders TV series, to launch Peaky Blinders Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, the first in a new line of branded spirits. Distilled at the historic Green River Distilling Company in Kentucky, the 45% ABV bourbon is finished with iron whiskey oak staves to blend Irish and American whiskey influences, delivering aromas of cherries, stone fruit, honey, citrus, and baking spices, plus a palette of toffee, cloves, nuts, caramel, marzipan, and cinnamon. The limited release, inspired by the show's smuggling storyline, features custom packaging and a label by Boundless Bite Marketing. Priced at $44.99 per bottle, it is now available for pre-order on Barrel Global's website and will reach retailers in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico from early March 2026. Barrel Global founder George Katakis called it an immersive tribute to the Peaky Blinders gangster world, while Banijay's Leila Lomi praised the collaboration for capturing the brand's creativity and craftsmanship. Yellowstone Bourbon has expanded the availability of its Recollection expression, a Kentucky straight bourbon inspired by 1800s back bar bottles from saloons and restaurants near Yellowstone National Park, making it accessible at the U.S. retailers nationwide after an initial exclusive release at Limestone Branch Distillery. Aged 8 years and bottled at 55% ABV, non-chill filtered, the 700 milliliter bottle features a hand-painted style design with the lower falls of the Yellowstone Park on the label and carries a suggested retail price of $69.99. The profile opens with vanilla, creme brulee, and dark cherry on the nose, followed by caramel, butterscotch, and charred oak on the palate, finishing with grain mocha, the brand's signature cherry note, and a warm cinnamon candy spice. Master distiller Stephen Beam described it as a tribute to the heritage and natural beauty of Yellowstone, emphasizing the brand's commitment to history and craftsmanship. Yellowstone, now a part of MGP Ingredients following the 2020 acquisition of Luxco, marked its 10th anniversary last year with RTD cocktails and continues to highlight its revival of the historic name. Hard Truth Distilling has released a trio of limited edition 7-year-old whiskeys from its core portfolio: straight bourbon, sweet mash rye, and a wheated bourbon, marking the Indiana Distillery's first expressions to reach this significant maturation milestone. I was able to speak with Master Distiller Brian Smith via a remote interview earlier this week to discuss the release. Hey Brian, how are you doing?
Hey Chris, thanks for having me on, buddy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in part of my podcast here, I'm doing the news, and your new releases are coming out, and I was hoping if you could give us a little rundown of what you got, what's happening this Saturday, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, man. This has been a long time coming. I will tell you that really, when I was thinking about kind of how I wanted to talk about this, because obviously, super proud of the whiskeys, as is everyone in the crew. They're tremendous, and I'll talk about those. But really having a first 7-year age stated whiskey from a grain to glass authentic distillery that really has done it the hard way is a pretty big milestone. So yeah, I think that really the most important thing to me to talk about is really to kind of celebrate and really highlight the amount of work that's been put into this from a lot of really, really dedicated, talented folks. So
absolutely,
I get to get on here and talk about it, but I'm really sharing this with everybody on the team. So
sure,
it's a big moment. Yeah. So we've got our straight bourbon whiskey, our black label sweet mash bourbon that you guys are familiar with at 90 proof. It is at cask strength.
Yeah, I saw that.
So yeah, man,
very nice.
And honestly, in my position, I tend to like whiskeys at cask strength, or at least bottled in bond.
Yeah.
That mash bill was one of the ones that did particularly well down in that lower proof point, which is why we offer that at 90 proof. So being able for people to try it up in the cask strength is really cool for me. I like that one. And then our wheated bourbon obviously is one of my favorites.
Yes.
And I will say, I know your folks are educated enough to know this, but wheat, especially in a bourbon, really needs extra time to show out, right?
Yes.
It still can be delicious at 4 years, but man, once you get to that 6, 7, 8, 9 year range, that wheat starts to really do some different things. So what I love about our wheated bourbon, it's got that, classic Hard Truth, super fruit nose, and fruit forward on the palate. Then it's got that, very familiar wheated mid-palate sweetness. But then with our bottled in bond, there's a nice chocolatey back finish. Tell you, with this cask strength 7 years, that chocolate is just like, it's so round, it's so rich.
Nice.
It really stands out against other wheated bourbons. And then finally, of the three, our sweet mash rye, which everyone is used to drinking at cask strength, so nothing different there. And it's a great batch of whiskey. And the 7 years really helps to turn that fruit from more of kind of a stone orchard fruit into a real jammy, rich, dense fruit. It's delicious, man. Yeah.
What's roughly what has the normal releases been age wise? Obviously less than 7, right? Yeah.
Yes. So we started making whiskey October 5th, 2018 on the new still.
Okay.
So all of our sweet mash whiskeys have come from that system.
Right.
So really these whiskeys, what I love about this is this really is a time capsule and almost like a museum piece. These are literally some of our first whiskeys that came off the still.
Wow.
Right. So this is only going to happen once. Even if we do another 7-year release, this really is some of the first whiskey that was ever produced at Hard Truth. Yeah. And it's a very limited quantity. So these are, and right now they're only going to be sold in Indiana I believe Kentucky, but there are going to be some online retailers that we bring in that will be able to sell some of this to kind of shoot it out to the markets that don't have it. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, also, the release said that you guys are doing a little special thing this Saturday at the campus. Yes.
Yes, we've got some fun stuff. So tomorrow afternoon, Friday, we're going to be doing kind of a press day and then a cask and still dinner where we're going to tease the release, and then Saturday will be the full release. And
nice.
And we'll have some music and a good party there at Hard Truth. Yeah. You haven't got to see it yet, but we've got quite the place to throw a party. So we just need another excuse, right?
Well, yeah, and I know we talked about me coming through there a few weeks back, but it was so cold, and I was just ready to go home. So it was one of those. I know, right? Yeah.
Hey, we're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
We'll host you when you come back.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
So, anything else that might be coming out in this year, roughly, or that you could talk about?
Yeah, this kind of kicks off our the beginning of kind of our special releases for the year, and we've got some fun stuff coming up. We're really working hard to keep our all the time whiskeys as like get as many in that pipeline as we can as we start to grow. We're getting ready to open up California, Arizona, and Washington State for distribution. But I've got some fun stuff in the pipeline for the rest of this year and for next year. Nice. But really, cool. This is just this really only is going to happen once for us, where we get to release this older whiskey. And I will tell you that it's funny because this morning I had a call with our sales lead. And he said, "Hey, I need give you some talking points for our sales folks, so they can go out in the market to help people sell it." And as I was thinking through it with him, I was like, this liquid is remarkable and it's delicious, but I really can't say, this is like really 3 or 4 rungs better than everything else, because it's not. It's I mean, the quality of our whiskey. And it marks a really, really special accomplishment for the whole team. Yeah. Right. So we're excited to share it with everybody. Have a fun couple days at the distillery.
No, that's so cool. Yeah. I'm in fact, I'm having a little bit of your.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's the French. Is that the French oak? French oak harvest rye. Oh, yeah.
It is so good. So good. So I'm enjoying that right now while we're having a little chat. So.
Yeah, man, great to see you again, and I look forward to the next time we get together.
Exactly, perfect. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Chris.
These whiskeys, crafted grain to glass at their Nashville, Indiana campus using the signature sweet mash process, which starts each batch with fresh ingredients for enhanced complexity and subtle grain notes. Each 7-year whiskey showcases deepened balance, layered flavor, and Indiana terroir. The straight bourbon offers buttered toffee, vanilla, cherry, and rye spice. The sweet mash rye brings maple, golden raisin plum, candied fruit, and black pepper. And the wheated bourbon delivers nougat, dark chocolate, toasted almond, pecan pie, and milk chocolate. Bottled at cask strength and drawn from carefully selected barrels, the limited trio debuted exclusively at the Hard Truth Distillery on February 28, 2026, with special events for fans, followed by a select retail rollout. Master Distiller Brian Smith has highlighted the transformative impact of 7 Indiana winters and summers on the sweet mash whiskeys, calling them truly special. Michter's Distillery has announced the release of its 2026 10-year single barrel Kentucky straight bourbon, the first shipment of this expression since last year, approved by Master Distiller Dan McKee and Master of Maturation Andrea Wilson. Bottled at 94.4 proof, 47.2% ABV, the bourbon is drawn from carefully selected barrels aged beyond 10 years to ensure peak maturity and consistency, delivering a smooth, rich, and complex profile that evokes warm appreciation with layered flavors. McKee emphasized the tea's rigorous selection process due to barrel variation, while Wilson described it as captivating pour that proves high proof isn't required for depth and richness. President Joseph J. Magliocco highlighted its significance as one of the first Michter's Kentucky releases alongside 10-year rye underscoring the brand's ongoing pursuit of exceptional American whiskey. The 750 milliliter bottle carries a suggested retail price of $195 in the U.S. and will ship from the distillery in March of 2026. MGP Ingredients, a major Kansas-based third-party whiskey producer and owner of brands like Yellowstone Bourbon, Penelope Bourbon, and El Mayor Tequila, reported a challenging 2025, with consolidated sales dropping 24% and gross profit declining 30%. The sharpest hit came in its distilling solutions segment, where sales plunged 45% for the year due to lower demand for aged and new distillate whiskey, proactive contract renegotiations, and customers pausing purchases to manage inventories. While the branded spirit segment saw only modest 3% full-year decline, premium brands grew 5% overall and 10% in quarter four, offsetting double-digit drops in mid and value-priced offerings. CEO Julie Francis described 2025 as a year of deliberate repositioning and expressed confidence in 2026, forecasting sales between $480 million and $500 million, driven by improved operational reliability, continued premium momentum, and enhanced cost discipline to counter ongoing brown goods inventory pressures. Starward Distillery, in partnership with Specialty Brands, is bringing its limited edition Starward and Lagavulin single malt to the UK market in March, more than 2 years after its 2023 debut. This Australian whiskey, bottled at 48% ABV, blends Starward's signature red wine barrel matured spirit with the bold, earthy peat and coastal character of ex-Lagavulin casks sourced from the iconic Isla Distillery. The result opens with aromas of yellow nectarine, peat, pineapple, and iodine, leading to a palette of char-grilled tropical pineapple, black tea, and subtle brine. My earliest inspiration for Star Wars was to create a deliciously distinctive whiskey, said founder David Vitale. And while we certainly hit that brief with our red wine barrel matured whiskey, that whiskey better epitomizes distinctively delicious than Lagavulin. The expression will be available at selected on and off trade partners with a recommended retail price of £125 or about $169 US. Nc'nean, the pioneering organic single malt whiskey distillery on Scotland's west coast, has secured £2.5 million in new funding to fuel its next growth phase. The round combines support from existing investors with fresh capital from Lotus Investments, bringing global alcohol sector expertise and strong Asian connections, and Lifted Ventures, a female-focused investment community. Following a strong 2025 that saw a 37% year-on-year revenue growth in the key U.S. export market and compelling gains elsewhere, the investment will accelerate brand visibility, distribution, and innovation in priority regions including the UK, Germany, France, and the U.S. I'm delighted to have secured this investment and to have added deep expertise of Lotus to support the next stage of Nc'nean's journey, said CEO Annabelle Thomas. Investors praised Nc'nean's alignment with sustainable, long-term value creation and its role in redefining responsible Scotch whiskey production. Johnnie Walker has introduced Black Cask, a permanent addition to its U.S. portfolio designed to bridge the divide between Scotch and bourbon drinkers. This blended Scotch whiskey is matured exclusively in American white oak ex-bourbon barrels, infusing the core black label liquid, including whiskeys from Cameron Bridge, Glen Elgin, and Rose Isle distilleries, with creamy vanilla sweetness, caramel, gentle spice, and smooth oak warmth. Led by master blender Dr. Emma Walker, the 43% ABV expression aims to attract bourbon fans who flavor sweeter profiles while delivering an unmistakably Johnnie Walker character. With Black Cask, we've brought together two remarkable whiskey traditions in a way only Johnnie Walker can, said Walker, emphasizing the brand's heritage of innovation. Recommended neat, on the rocks, or in cocktails, like the old-fashioned, it launches nationwide on March 1st at a suggested retail price of $34.99 per 750 milliliter bottle, supported by a U.S.-wide campaign featuring digital storytelling, immersive tastings, and a multi-state tour. The Macallan has released Distill Your World Paris, the fifth edition in its acclaimed gastronomic whiskey series, created in collaboration with Michelin-starred chefs Joan Joseph and Jordi Roca. Inspired by Paris's rich l'art de la table tradition, Master whiskey maker Kirstine Campbell crafted this 47.2% ABV single malt using a unique combination of American sherry-seasoned oak, European sherry-seasoned oak, ex-bourbon, and rare cognac casks to layer signature Macallan character with notes of buttered pastries, brioche, vanilla pods, sandalwood, and sweet fruits, evoking the city's patisseries, perfumeries, and poetic streets. The whiskey's Parisian sunrise golden hue draws from Montmartre's morning light, while the elegant packaging includes a white presentation box with gouache print by artist Cassandra Monteorio and journey tracing map and street yellow accents honoring Paris as the City of Light, accompanied by a documentary showcasing the creative process and encounters with Parisian artisans like Anne-Sophie Pic. Distill Your World Paris is now exclusively available to the Macallan Society members for $4,750 per bottle in the U.S., with wider select retail availability starting in April. Lindores Abbey Distillery, the Fife-based lowlands producer that opened in 2017 on the historic site widely regarded as the spiritual home of Scotch whiskey, has confirmed a small number of redundancies following a strategic review of its operations. The distillery disbanded its non-core events business in 2025 and eliminated select support roles across the wider organization, while emphasizing that no production positions were affected and the visitor center remains fully open with ongoing development. After several years of intermittent distillation aligned with demand, full production resumed in September of 2025 to meet ongoing spirits needs. Our operational structure has been revised to focus on our core strengths: liquid production, sales, and the visitor center, a model consistent with our peers across the Scotch whiskey industry. The company stated, adding that the business continues to trade normally and is committed to strong, sustainable future amid broader industry challenges. Heaven Hill Brands has released Heaven Hill Deatsville 13-year-old bourbon, the first in a multi-year series honoring its distinctive Deatsville campus, one of 6 Kentucky warehouse sites, and a key part of the company's 90-year heritage since the early 1980s. Originally home to the T.W. Samuels Distillery, the 167,000 barrel capacity site features 9 Heaven Hill-owned rickhouses with unique tiered roof architecture that creates a natural stack effect for dynamic airflow and subtle maturation differences. This limited edition 13-year-old expression, drawn from 17 barrels aged on the 3rd floor of Rickhouse AA, uses a classic mash bill of 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley, and is bottled at 54% ABV. As one of the last fully Deatsville matured bourbons before the site transitions to regauge only status over the next 12 to 24 months, it will be available exclusively at the Deatsville Tour and Tasting Experience starting March 15th for $199.99 per bottle. This release pays tribute to the brands, barrels, and people who brought those rickhouses to life, says Susan Wall, Vice President of American Whiskey at Heaven Hill Brands. Now, in cigar news, premium cigar imports to the United States showed modest growth in 2025, rising 1% through November to 394.6 million hand-rolled cigars, according to the Cigars Association of America's latest data, with December, typically one of the strongest months, still to come. Total imports are virtually guaranteed to surpass 4 million for the 5th straight year, continuing the post-pandemic boom that saw shipments climb from 338 million in 2019 and 361 million in 2020 to a modern peak of 465 million in 2022. Nicaragua, the dominant supplier, increased shipments 2% to 237.5 million cigars, while Honduras posted the largest gain at 14% to 69 million cigars. The Dominican Republic, however, declined 9% to 84.9 million cigars. Overall, 2025 is on track to extend the industry's steady upward trend, following a slight 0.9% increase in 2024. Red Booth Miami, Brickell's premium cigar lounge and luxury cocktail bar, marked its 2nd anniversary with the grand toast on Thursday, February 26, 2026, at its 1010 Brickell Avenue location. The event celebrated 2 years of exceptional hospitality through a showcase of over 200 premium cigars and a climate-controlled humidor, more than 400 premium spirits, spirits, expertly crafted cocktails made from fresh juices and house-made ingredients, live DJ entertainment, complimentary light bites, and an open bar for members only. Guests enjoyed raffles, giveaways, and chances to explore private cigar lockers and membership perks with classic cocktail attire encouraged. The celebration welcomed the public from 8 to 11 p.m., and owner Johnny Weber highlighted the venue's warm reception in Miami, crediting its authentic 1920s-inspired ambiance, featuring a restored London red phone booth entrance, plush seating, fireplaces, hand-painted ceilings, and superior air purification as a top destination for cigar aficionados and upscale nightlife in downtown Miami. Matilde Cigar Company has unveiled its first new limited exposure release in 4 years with the Limited Exposure No. 3, a 3-vitola line featuring an Ecuadorian wrapper, Dominican binder, and a balanced 50-50 Dominican-Nicaraguan filler blend, all handcrafted at Tabacalera La Isla in Dominican Republic. The cigars deliver a refined medium-plus profile, emphasizing aroma, layered sweetness, gentle spice, and a clean finish, diverging from the brand's typically Dominican-heavy blends. Available in 3 sizes, a Robusto 5x50, a Toro 6x50, and a Lonsdale at 6x42. Each vitola ships in limited 20-count boxes with only 350 boxes of each of the Robusto and Toro and 250 boxes of the Lonsdale. Shipments to retailers began last week. Works Cigars is introducing the Isla del Cocodrilo Blanco, a lighter-bodied addition to its popular Isla del Cocodrilo line. This 6.5 by 55 Perfecto features an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper over dual binders, Brazilian Arapiraca and Ecuadorian Habano 2000, and Nicaraguan fillers, the same core blends as the original Habano wrapped versions launched at the 2024 PCA convention. Handcrafted at Tabacalera La Isla in Dominican Republic, the Blanco carries an $18 per cigar MSRP and will ship to retailers in limited 15-count boxes starting March 4th. Artista Cigars has started shipping 2 new additions to its portfolio. The Art 56 Figurado Natural, a 6.25 by 56 size, priced at $3.70 each, joins the Dominican Puro Art 56 line in 10-count bundles like the existing Claro and Maduro variants. It is rolled at the company's La Vega factory in Dominican Republic by graduates of Artista's training program. Alongside it, the new Artista Club Minis line offers 3 distinct 4x27 mini cigars in 20-count packs for $18 each. Claro, Oscuro, and Rustico, all produced at the same factory using vintage mid-1900s rolling machines. For golf lovers out there, Cavalier Genève is releasing its 3rd annual limited edition cigars to celebrate the 2026 Masters Golf Tournament. The Green Jacket 2026 is a 7x47 Churchill priced at $18.45 each, MSRP of $203 per box of 11 cigars. Each box contains 10 cigars of the 2026 blend, featuring a Jalapa Nicaragua wrapper, Connecticut binder, and Honduran Nicaraguan fillers, plus 1 preview Muestra 2027 cigar with a Honduran wrapper and binder over a multi-origin filler blend from Honduras, Nicaragua, Paraguay, and Sumatra, distinguished by a plain factory band. Both cigars are handcrafted at Fabrica Centroamericana de Tabaco S.A. in Honduras, continuing the brand's tradition of including a future year preview as seen in prior releases. The elegant box artwork depicts the iconic 16th green red bud at Augusta National. Boxes begin shipping to retailers next week, well ahead of the Masters of the Tournament scheduled for April 9th through the 12th, 2026. Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust is shipping 2 new cigars to retailers, both first unveiled at the 2025 PCA Convention and Trade Show. The 10th Jubilee, a 5 5/8 by 48 Corona Gorda, celebrating the company's 10th anniversary, features an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, only the second use of this varietal by the brand, over a Mexican binder and Nicaraguan filler blend from Condega, Esteli, Jalapa, and Ometepe, handcrafted at Nicaragua American Cigars S.A. It carries an MSRP of $19.75 per cigar in understated 13-count boxes as a regular production release. Joining it is the Todos los Dias Double Wide, a 4 3/4 by 60 Bellicoso from the revived Archive series. This Nicaraguan Puro uses a sun-grown cubid seed wrapper over Esteli and Jalapa fillers and produced at the Hoyo de Nicaragua factory and is priced at $16.95 each in 10-count boxes. Scandinavian Tobacco Group is marking the 25th anniversary of the Punch Rare Corojo line with a special 2026 limited edition release, the Punch Rare Corojo 25th Anniversary. Unlike recent years' multi-vitola offerings or last year's shift to regular production, this celebratory edition is available in just one size, a 6x54 Toro. It is crafted entirely from Honduran tobaccos, featuring a Corojo wrapper and binder with Corojo and Habano fillers. Uniquely, it is produced at JRE Tobacco Company's Fabrica de Puros Aladino in Las Lomas, Yamastran, rather than STG's usually Danlí factory, continuing a recent collaboration between the two companies. Priced at $10.99 each, the cigars ship in 10-count boxes beginning Monday, March 2nd. For over 2 decades, Punch fans have eagerly anticipated new rare Corojo front marks and releases, said brand manager Scott Abney. Now, to celebrate 25 years on the shelves, we're giving them a taste of a new blend that delivers that same signature punch that they know and love. The last new cigar for the 2025 Tobacconists Association of America exclusive series is now shipping. The CLE 25th Anniversary TAA 2025 is a 6x54 Toro made entirely from Honduran tobaccos. The same blend as the regular production CLE 25th Anniversary, but in a round Corojo format rather than box pressed. Priced at $19.06 each, production is strictly limited to 500 boxes of 10 cigars. Fratello has started shipping the 1821 Dominican Republic, the inaugural release in its new Puro collection featuring single country tobaccos. This medium to full-bodied Dominican Puro is produced at the La Aurora factory in Santiago and offered exclusively in a 6x58 Toro Vitola, priced at $18.21 per cigar or $218.52 for a box of 12. Named for the year 1821 when both the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua gained independence from Spain, the line will continue with the upcoming 1821 Nicaragua. Debuted at the 2025 PCA Convention and Trade Show, the 1821 Dominican Republic is released in limited batches of 3,000 cigars each, with the first batch shipping in late February 2026 and the next scheduled for September of 2026. Rojas Cigars is releasing its 3rd annual limited edition Street Tacos Cinco de Mayo cigar for 2026 to celebrate the May 5th holiday. The 6x54 Toro features an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Mexican San Andreas binder, and a Nicaraguan Jalapa Connecticut Broadleaf filler blend, with a slight adjustment to the Jalapa proportion compared to the 2025 edition. It's handcrafted at the Rojas Cigar Factory in Nicaragua. They're priced at $12.50 each. This year's release is limited to 2,000 boxes, totaling 40,000 cigars, down from the 2,500 boxes of the 2025 version and following the 1,750 boxes of the 2024 debut. Boxes are scheduled to begin shipping to retailers during the first week in April. STG, the distributor of the El Titan de Bronze brand, is expanding the line with its first Nicaragua-made cigar, the El Titan de Bronze Nicaragua, set to ship to retailers in March. Handcrafted at Nicaragua American Cigars S.A., this new release features a broadleaf wrapper, Mexican binder, and Nicaraguan fillers, departing from the brand's traditional Miami production at El Titan de Bronze owned factory. Available in 4 Vitolas, a Corona 6 1/4 by 48, Robusto 5 by 54, Toro 6 by 52, and a Gigante 6 by 60, each in 20-count boxes. The cigar reflects the brand's commitment to quality as it grows beyond U.S. borders. This moment reflects both our heritage and our future, said factory founder Sandra Cobas and President Giselle Herrera. Producing our first cigar outside the United States allows us to expand thoughtfully while maintaining the high standards that define El Titan de Bronze. General Cigar has partnered once again with Miami's El Titan de Bronze factory to release the limited edition Cohiba Series M Reserva Plata, the 6th installment in the U.S.-made Cohiba Series M series. This non-Cuban cigar features a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, a Nicaraguan binder, and a Dominican Nicaraguan filler blend, all hand-rolled exclusively by the factory's most skilled torcedores. Offered solely in a 6x52 Toro Vitola with an MSRP of $29.99 each. It ships in distinctive silver flip-top boxes of 10 cigars, with production strictly limited to 3,000 boxes. Shipments to retailers begin Monday, March 2nd. This is our 6th Series M release, and it continues to be a pleasure working with El Titan de Bronze to create special expression each year for this line, said Cohiba brand ambassador Sean Williams. Viaje is shipping its new Skull and Bones Red cigars for the first time in 3 years with a limited February release featuring 3 returning Vitolas, the Big Ivan at 5x60, Fat Man 4 1/4 by 56, and Little Boy 4 1/4 by 52. These cigars, originally introduced in 2013 and 2011, draw their names from historic nuclear weapons, continuing the thematic tradition of the Skull and Bones series. Viaje has not revealed current blend or factory details, though past versions featured a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Dominican binder, and a mix of Dominican, Nicaraguan, and U.S. fillers. The company announced the shipment dramatically with the caption, "Bombs away! Humidor annihilation begins next week. This is not a test. Seek shelter. Be warned." Followed previous releases in 2023 and 2019. Black Works Studios, the creative sub-brand of Black Label Trading Company, is shipping its long-awaited 2026 release of Boondock cigars, the first full release since 2019. This Pennsylvania broadleaf wrapped Nicaraguan Puro, Habano binder with a Connecticut, Nicaraguan, and Pennsylvania fillers, is handcrafted at Fabrica Oveja Negra in Nicaragua and returns in 3 Vitolas, a Robusto 5 1/4 by 50, Corona Larga 6 1/4 by 46, and a new Lancero, a 7 by 42. Production is limited to 750 boxes each for the Robusto and Corona Larga, and just 450 boxes for the Lancero. The Boondock is one of our most asked about limited releases from Black Works Studios. The company stated, "This will be the first release since 2019. To celebrate its return, we added a new Lancero Vitola. This Vitola gives Boondock fans a completely new experience." Principal Cigars has rolled out the full release of its Engagement line following a soft launch in late 2025. This medium-bodied 5 3/4 by 46 Corona features a Nicaraguan wrapper and binder with a balanced filler blend of Nicaraguan and Dominican tobaccos, delivering a profile described as rich without heaviness, expressive without sharpness. Handcrafted at Casa Carrillo in the Dominican Republic, the line is strictly limited to 8,000 cigars total, with 2,000 already distributed throughout select retailers and subscription services during the initial phase. Priced at $13 per cigar, the Engagement is available in 12-count boxes or 20-count bundles. The cigars stand out with meticulously preserved 1920s chromolithographic labels and bands, and principal founder Darren Cioffi confirmed that additional antique materials remain available, suggesting potential future production once this run sells out. Now, in upcoming events, the Muletown Pipe Show will take place in Columbia, Tennessee at the Briarworks location on March 6th through the 8th. Whisky Live Athens will be taking place on March 7th through the 8th at Technopolis in Athens, Greece. Fink's Cigars in San Antonio will be having their cigar lounge crawl on March 7th across all 4 of their lounges. Galena Whiskey Weekend will take place at Turner Hall in Galena, Illinois on March 7th. There will be an educational tasting for Glen Moray at the Algiers Club in Dallas on March 12th, as well as a Meet the Maker for Leaper's Fork Distillery on March 13th. The Great Smoke Festival will be happening on March 12th through the 15th at the South Florida Fair in Palm Beach, Florida. Whisky Riot Dallas will happen on March 14th at the Fair Park in Dallas. On March 16th through the 18th, the Beam Institute Industry Conference will take place at the University of Kentucky. On March 21st, the Independent Spirits Festival will be taking place in Leith, Scotland. Also on March 21st, there will be a Meet the Maker Mugen Spirit Whiskey with Kojin Tashiro at the Algiers Club in Dallas. Whiskey Shift Lucerne will happen on March 26th to the 28th at Navigation Company of Lake Lucerne in Switzerland. Whisky Live and Fine Spirits London will happen March 27th through the 28th at the Fireworks Factory in Woolwich, London. DailyCon 2026, the Cigars Daily Cigar Festival, will happen in Phoenix, Arizona, March 28th from 10:30 to 5. Whisky Riot Houston will be held on March 28th at Post Houston. The Texas Whiskey Festival will take place March 8th at Star Hill Ranch in Bee Cave, Texas. The Premium Cigar Association Trade Show is once again in New Orleans from April 17th through 20th, of which I will be attending as a member of the press. The Chicago International Pipe Show will be happening April 30th through May 3rd at the Hyatt Regency O'Hare in Chicago. The Spirit of Speyside Festival will take place April 29th through May 4th, all around the Speyside region of Scotland. Whisky Live Melbourne will take place May 1st and 2nd at St Kilda Town Hall. Maltstock Down Under will take place at Rathdown Farm in Tasmania, Australia, May 15th. And finally, Somerton Whisky Festival will take place at the Lower Red Lion in St Albans, England. Damn. Okay. And now we move on to our Pop the Cork in-depth interview of the week with Tim Huels of the Whisky Blendery in Oak Point, Texas. He's the owner and founder of the company. We cover his time before starting the Blendery, what prompted the idea for the Blendery, and the steps it took to actually get it off the ground, and a whole bunch more. So please, sit back, grab a dram, pour that glass, pick out a good stick and torch it up, grab your favorite pipe, pack the bowl with your favorite tobacco, and light away. Then listen to the interview. Please enjoy. Well, today we're here with Tim Huels at the Whisky Blendery in Oak Point, Texas. And this is a non-producing distiller, NDP, a non-distilling producer, right?
Yeah, technically we are a distillery.
Right.
But we source everything.
Right,
so
exactly.
we've always been transparent about bringing in barrels,
Yep.
and that's probably not going to change for a little while.
Exactly. So if you don't mind, would you kind of give me your background, how you got to where you are? And here,
How far back do you want to go?
Well, like, I guess
Just
a little bit.
From the idea of this up
exactly.
to how it happened.
And what you were doing, because I kind of know the story a little bit about where you started. I mean, because you had some companies and then...
I moved to Texas in 2013. So I kind of quit my corporate job and bought some franchises that dealt with hospitality management and optimization. And so I did that since I moved down here for it. Had started out with 4 different franchises and then expanded into Houston and then bought another one here in Dallas. And then this, I got pretty deep into the whiskey scene and a lot of the local whiskey clubs I was in and that kind of stuff, and always had a passion for the whiskey and learning about it, and like even any kind of data that I'm a big data nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so anytime any other distilleries like Smoke Wagon would release their 10 to 14 year MGP red top stuff, they would even something as simple as putting the warehouse and what floor it was on. I would try it and just try to find patterns, like, oh man, warehouse G floor 4 is money. Like anytime I can get that, let's get that. So then I was keeping a spreadsheet of all of that stuff just to, I guess, limit how much I was buying, because I was buying a lot more than I was consuming, which you can probably relate to.
I can relate to.
But yeah, I bet I had, a couple thousand bottles. Probably anywhere from 800 to 1,000 bottles that were open. Right. Because I was somebody that opened and shared and drank them, and if I was buying them, they weren't just to sit on them. But then being a member of all these different clubs, I was getting 8 bottles a month. Yes. Because I'm buying, stuff of everybody's. And then that was kind of when there was a lot of 4 to 6 year MGP that was just kind of average. Right. And it's it took me a while to figure out that why am I still buying average stuff? So I'm, say if it's, let's just for even numbers, $100 a bottle, you're spending $800 a month. Right. average stuff that you're not going to drink. So that's why I was like, all right, well, let's limit that. Let's limit on what that is, and then also, you don't get to try a lot of the stuff before you buy it.
Correct.
It's like you either have to commit or just buy it, and you bring it home, you try a little sample of it, and it's like, well, that's underwhelming. So what are you gonna do?
That.
So so in my mind, there was always something like, hey, can I create an experience-driven something in Texas? Like, where would I want to go?
Yeah.
Because all the distilleries, especially in Texas, they're a lot of them are proud of their Texas grains and their process, and it's 100% Texas.
Yes.
But at that time, when I was thinking about this, I mean, a 3-year-old bourbon was old.
Right.
And it was, age statements are in months, not years.
Correct. Yeah.
And it has its own swim lane, and it's gotten way better. But that wasn't the Texas whiskey wasn't what I normally gravitate towards. Right. It was more, the older Kentucky style whiskey is what I would normally drink. And MGP too. Really love the consistency of that.
Yep.
Especially if you could get older MGP, that was kind of my swim lane.
Got it.
So yeah, it was always an idea, and then I can think of certain critical times that were just like kind of light bulbs that went off, and that was since I had all this MGP that was average at best. I still remember inviting people over, which I would normally do a regular bottle share at my house, and then the bottle share kind of morphed into a blending experience because I did it once and we had so much fun doing it that I wouldn't tell people, hey, what we were going to do, but instead of bringing their best bottles, I would say, hey, bring an average bottle that you don't like.
Okay.
And I told them to, hey, bring some MGP because I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
Been blending with it just on my own, and so they would bring younger, just not great barrel picks of MGP. Yeah. And then we'd spend an hour or so, and nothing like we have today with worksheets and adjustable pipettes and monitoring it to the 10th of the milliliter. It was more of like, this looks like half and half. And so, but it was so much fun because we were able to create pretty good whiskey out of average at best stuff. Right. And then, they'd refill their bottle with whatever the blend was, and I had hundreds of bottles that we could pull from. Right. But they would always leave with something that they created. Gotcha. That was, then they ended up, stripping the label off and getting a marker and either having all of us sign it or date it, or then they would call it something funny. Yeah. And then they would take it home, and then they'd be blowing me up. Right. Because that's the bottle, when they did their bottle shares, that's the bottle that they would bring or have people try. Yes. And then it's almost like a drug that when other people try what you blended, before you tell them anything, and they're like, wow, this is amazing. Where can I get this? Right. Well, you can't. And what do you mean I can't? And then they tell the story and how much fun it was. And then, well, can I go with you next time? Yeah. And so that just kind of snowballed, and then that got added to the idea of what experience could we do and that kind of stuff. So, and then fast forward to COVID shutting down all the bars and restaurants, and then we're all locked in our house, not doing anything, and that was a foreign thing to me to not have something that I'm working on. Right. So then I was like, all right, well, what's my backup plan if the bars don't open, or if they open up 6 months from now? That doesn't work. Correct. So because you were in the hospitality sector. And nobody's hiring a consultant for their shut down bars. Right. Because I can't help them. And so that's where I kind of developed this, and then it's like, all right, I think I'm going to do this. Yeah. And then it's like, all right, well, what's the first step? Like, what are the things that would just kill the idea? And the thing I kept going back on was, well, if I can't get good whiskey, because I wanted to do blending, but I also wanted good single barrels. Yes. Right. So if I couldn't get good single barrels, then I wasn't going to do it. Yeah. If I was only going to get what everybody else could get, then that was a deal breaker. Gotcha. So that's when I was like, all right, I had to I mean, at that time, buying barrels was very challenging.
Right.
And even getting a seat, like I kind of compare it to the soup Nazi. If you ever watch Seinfeld, like you got to be ready.
For you.
Stand in line, get this, know exactly what you want. Here's my money. Okay, thanks, and then move. And it's like I still remember calls to where it's like, Tim, you don't know what you want. Like, hey, let's reschedule. I got another call. And then it'd be another 30 days before I could even get in front of a sales guy.
Right.
Like, isn't that crazy? I mean,
that is
times
crazy. Compared to now.
The pendulum has swung the other way.
Completely.
But if you can even fathom being in sales and having a guy like ready to like give you a check.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, you don't know what you want. Let's move on. Now that kind of changed, and I kind of built a relationship with one of the sales guys up there.
Yeah.
And he genuinely wanted to see me succeed. And it was like, man, this concept and what you're talking about, I don't know why somebody hasn't done this.
Right.
Like, this is great. And I was like, hey man, yeah. And it's just me. Like, I'm not wealthy by any means. I'm not taking any investors. Like, this is just me.
Yeah.
I want to do this the right way. I don't want to be told, like, even in the franchise business, like, I thought I was having my own business. It's like, no. Here's what you can do. Here's what you can't do. And here's what you're going to pay us.
Correct.
And so it's like,
for the pleasure of thinking you're owning your own business.
And it was good, a good learning experience.
Sure.
Good, and the business was good, and we were doing well with it. But I always said, hey, my next thing is going to be my own thing. And I did the franchise stuff because I'm not the super creative type. I'm more of the operational brain to make things better. So give me an idea that I'm excited about that works, and I'll make it really good.
Yeah.
And so that's why I went the franchise route and found something that was cool. But the moving into this.
So getting barrels was harder at the beginning. Obviously.
Harder, but also it's like, I mean, you can't really just call them up and be like, hey, I want 3 barrels of this, or like, so it's like, so you really had to save up money.
Yes.
And then, I ended up, I lived in McKinney at the time, so I sold my house and, did well because, I mean,
at that time.
At that time, the house,
Absolutely.
The house market was crazy. So invested all of that.
Yeah.
Pulled against my 401k, invested all of that in barrels, like basically all the resources that I had built up for my entire career.
You took a leap.
I did.
Yeah.
And partly because like you had to at that time.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to sell you single.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I started this, I had small mom and pop places that were like, hey man, can you sell me a half a barrel of something?
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to get started. And so I would do my best to help those people out because I knew exactly what that felt like.
Exactly.
So fast forward, I had quite a few barrels lined up that I thought were good, and most of them were sight unseen. But I tried to give myself an edge based on my spreadsheet.
Correct.
And all the data that I had collected over the years on buying, consistent MGP that. It was a profile that I thought was great.
Exactly.
And so I was excited about what I had, but most of it I had never tasted. Now, and I would also tell them, hey, do you have any weird stuff?
Right.
Like, what kind of weird stuff do you have? Because but it has to be good. And I still, that's what we should have done. I should have brought out some of those samples of the weird stuff for us to try, because most of it wasn't good.
Right.
Quinoa bourbon, like all the stuff that was truly weird.
Yeah.
But that's how we first found the Double Jeopardy barrels.
Okay.
Because it was an unknown mash bill to them.
Yes.
And like even last year when we went and visited them, I confirmed they have 2 like valves, and they just had 2 valves open. Wow. One was a 36% rye, one was a 95% rye. And then the barrels got filled.
Good Lord.
And
I forget.
And they don't know.
How many barrels did they actually do of that?
They filled 50 barrels until they realized 2 valves were open, and they didn't know at what proportions that it was filled.
Well.
Yeah. And then bourbon was selling really good, but everything else wasn't selling good. So if it's legally just called a whiskey,
Yes.
then it's like, well, this could be anything.
Correct.
And so that wasn't selling, and then it was re-barreled into brand new barrels again, and it's like nobody wanted it.
Yeah.
So that fell into the weird category, and I still have samples of it at 3 years old.
Yeah.
At 3, which normally a 3-year-old whiskey, I'm like, that's not my jam. But this I was super impressed with,
Right.
and it had GTS vibes, and shoot, a couple weeks ago those barrels turned 9, so all of them are 9. I got 18 barrels left of it.
My goodness.
So we sold through 32 of them.
That's
and they've been an absolute hit.
Absolutely,
like even
yes.
on our Patreon shelf, I had last week we put like the Double Jeopardy Mistrial and like one other one, and
Which
like
I haven't cracked mine. I still got the Mistrial.
Oh, it's
I haven't
really
cracked
good.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
really good. So yeah, that one's excellent.
Well, I remember trying it here.
I mean, they're all good.
Yes.
And even at my dad's house over the weekend, he had the original Double Jeopardy, and Trevor and I made a video of this to where they were numbered. That one was numbered 1 through 30.
Right.
So when we started out, I mean, 30 bottles, it would take us months to sell 30 bottles. So we'd only pull 30 bottles because it's like, well, let's continue to age it, because if it takes a long time, we might as well keep getting more age.
Yeah. Yes.
And assuming that it gets better.
Yeah.
So the first Double Jeopardy, like I was drinking bottle number 10 of 30.
Wow.
And then,
Well,
and
that's changed a little bit.
It's changed a little bit. Yeah.
Changed a little bit.
So now it's like, if we put a Double Jeopardy online or something, I mean, it's usually a couple minutes before the barrel sold out.
Yeah.
So a couple minutes to sell the whole barrel versus months to sell 30 bottles.
Exactly.
Pretty big difference.
Yeah.
But now people are trying to collect them all. And I'd actually like to do a member tasting here, and you're a member. So I'd like to do a member tasting here to almost do a vertical of the Double Jeopardies, and then debut the next Double Jeopardy when we bring it in.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
And just see, like I was super impressed because it was 5 years old when we bottled our first one, but it's still like super dark and it drinks much older than that. And it's a really good whiskey at 5 years old. So yeah, I haven't brought any of the recent ones in.
Okay. They're still sitting in Kentucky?
Yeah, they're still at MGP.
Or at Indiana? Or at Kentucky,
in Indiana.
Yeah.
So we're about to move them to a different location, so then we could go in, taste them, cherry pick them, and bring only the ones that are ready to bottle.
Gotcha.
Bring them in.
Yeah. So bring it to a different warehouse that you have access to.
Yep.
Pretty much anytime you want.
Yep. Then after we secured, some really good whiskey, and I was buying barrels for over a year. Just anything I would make would buy whiskey barrels. And then I had a decent inventory, but at that point, to tell you how kind of hard it is and barriers to entry to start the stuff, it's like you can't just move it in or take, like you can't touch it, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And I had an attorney even tell me, like, hey, you can buy barrels even though you don't have any permits. You can buy them, you just can't possess them.
Right.
You can't move them, you can't touch them, you can't do anything with it. So now it's like, all right, now all my money's going to this.
Yeah.
I can't touch them, can't do anything. But that's what I needed to do first. I needed to secure really good whiskey first in order to know, like, okay, now what's the next step?
Correct.
So then I had to find this place.
Yes.
Which that was even kind of hard to do because I lived in McKinney, and that was before even they allowed liquor stores in McKinney, all that stuff. So you can't just like get a distiller's permit if there's no liquor stores, package stores. You can't do that either. So I checked with like Plano, Allen, McKinney, Frisco, just to see if they would allow it, and most of them at that time wouldn't.
But they would allow a brewery.
Breweries and wineries were cool.
I know.
If you start a distillery, you're the devil.
Exactly.
Like these old 100-year-old laws
I know.
in Texas that, which they're slowly getting better.
Yes.
And so we ended up finding this place before it got built. And it's like, oh, okay, Oak Point. What's Oak Point? You know.
Yeah.
And then I was looking into like, the Denton County stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's wet. It's not dry.
Right.
And then, come to find out it's outside city limits. So the road right here is city limits.
Okay.
And so, okay, well now we don't need city approval because we're not inside city limits. Another barrier gone.
Yeah.
And then Denton County's like, I don't care. And then Oak Point's like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what we say, but yeah, if you want to start a business in Oak Point, that's great.
Exactly.
We would love to have you.
Absolutely.
But then you got to find the landlord. The landlord has to be cool with it.
Yeah.
And then, so a lot of barriers. And then it's like, okay, well, now you got to sign a 3-year lease.
Yeah.
So to sign a 3-year lease on both spaces,
Right.
and then take that lease to start your paperwork, to even start your permitting process.
Right, because you have to have a brick and mortar to get that
you
stuff.
have to have it at an approved location.
Yeah.
And I was trying to even get like TABC and everybody to tell me, hey, is this location okay?
Right.
They're like, well, submit your paperwork.
Right,
I'm like, I can't submit my paperwork until I have the lease, but I don't want to sign the lease until you tell me I can do it.
Right.
And so there was
that sense, the cart is definitely before the horse on that one.
So it took quite a bit of faith, believing that this was going to happen, that it was going to work out.
Yeah.
And then it was after I had this place, it was about 9 months to a year before, I think 9 months before I got the permit. And then I didn't want to start investing in the finish out of this place until I knew I was getting the permit. Right. And so then it's like, and I was out of cash. So it's like, all right, well, what can I do? So, I mean, a lot of this stuff, like the barn tin.
Yep.
Pulled
You
that
did all
from
that yourself?
Sherman. Yeah, me and a buddy hung that.
Nice.
That stuff sent me to the hospital from stepping on this huge rusty nail. Like that was out of an old pig farm in Sherman.
Okay.
So the floor of the pig farm was this, like, they used white oak because the pigs were shitting on it, and it needed to be a good wood.
Right. Yeah.
So then I kind of nerd out on like old historic wood too. So I'm like, ooh, well maybe I can get some of this old wood and plane it and clean it up and like it could be in here.
Yeah.
And that's when one of those rusty nails covered in pig shit went straight through my foot. So
been there, done that actually on the construction site.
Oh, it's brutal.
Stepped on a big old nail, and it's not fun.
No,
not fun.
No.
And rusty, then you got to worry about.
All the shots and whatever.
Exactly.
But yeah, we were doing a lot of this ourselves, and even the table we're on. Like I made this table, so 9 months to finish the stuff out, and then I was getting married and trying to find a new house, and we just got a dog, and then trying to have a baby and all this stuff.
You mean you actually tried to have a life while you were doing this?
Yeah, 2022 was the year I lived more than any other year.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff happened in 1 year. And when I sold my house, like my fiance at the time and we moved into a fifth wheel trailer.
Yep.
So we lived like 20 minutes from here.
So you had 6 months there, and then you're finishing this
April
out.
of 22. Yeah. Got married in March, had our honeymoon, and then the day got back for our honeymoon, we opened this place up.
Wow.
So
amazing. That was a busy year for you, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And then you said, so when you first opened, you would have trouble selling 30 bottles? I mean,
it was kind of weird.
Was it kind of slow? How slow was it at the beginning?
Slower than I thought it would be.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot slower than I thought it would be.
Okay. Because the word, people, obviously that you had at your shares and stuff knew about it probably, right? But, but the word had
the
gotten around
clubs and all that, to where it's like, it's almost like if you had a guy that that you're buddies with, and he's like, hey man, I'm starting a distillery or this or that, you're kind of like rolling your eyes. Or if somebody comes to you and it's like, hey, I made my own blend, or I made my own whiskey, I want you to try it. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's good. One of those kind of things. So the initial impression from people was kind of that, like, oh, okay, you're starting your own place. Like, that's cool, man. Hey, that's awesome. But then they wouldn't come here. They wouldn't spend money. And it was like, man, even some of our earlier bottles, like every once in a while somebody comes in with an early bottle and drink it, and it's so freaking good. Yeah. But it takes a long time. I mean, we weren't doing social media. We weren't doing really anything. It was like just trying to build it out. And then also, like, the membership side of things was a little confusing too, because we were building something that didn't exist. Right. So what is it? What is the membership? And you have a social member and a blending member. What's the difference? And when can I access it? And there's still confusion. I mean, there was a guy today that was still confused. He's like, hey, so can I have a locker? It's like, no, you have to be a member to be a locker. You don't have a locker. And but it's starting to get better as we, listen to our people and what they want, and then also try to communicate that. And like this year, we consolidated those to a founding membership. So everybody's a founding member that gets in now. And then once we move to our new place, then we won't, like, there will be no more founding members. Right. So you'll retain that title. Yep. And so that's kind of cool too. And there'll be different perks for different people. And so we wanted to kind of lean into the exclusivity side of things, because I was overpaying for barrels at the time. Right. Well, but everybody was. Right. But they were also overcharging, and we were trying not to overcharge because we wanted to give good value. But I mean, even like the Double Jeopardies, for example, I mean, we were charging $125 a bottle, which, you think about that now for a 5-year, that is overcharging, but that was a good deal for a rare bottle. Correct. But now, I mean, we're still charging $125 a bottle, and it's almost double the age. Yes. So, so we want to continue to add value where we can. Right. And because we're not in big box stores, and there's no liquor store in Texas that you can get our stuff, that adds a level of exclusivity, and we're not trying to appease investors. We're not trying to push volume. Like it's been, I think in the last 10 days, we've only bottled bottle of the month, 140 bottles in the last 10 days. And that's not really sustainable, but it's that is unusual for you. I mean, early, at least from what I've seen in the past. Normally we'll try to dump about the equivalent of 4 barrels, 150 on average bottles per barrel. And they're in the 8 to 11 year range usually. But we're solely focused on the quality. Exactly. Richard tried a ton of stuff and already put it on my desk, and here's this, and hey, it was better last week. Yeah. So, we will never bottle something knowing that it was better before. Correct. Because that means it can likely get back to where it was, or better than where it is. And, and a lot of people don't understand the amount of fluctuation that you get due to weather variables and different things. But man, those barrels change a ton. Even throughout the day. We'll try it in the morning, and then in the evening it can get even better. Yes. And the next day it can get better. So, Richard's constantly trying barrels, and then if he's trying to make a 3 or 4 barrel blend, now you have 4 moving variables because they're in the barrels. Yeah. We're not pumping them out, and they're not like big vats that we're blending from. Yeah. They're evolving in the barrel day by day, so it's a moving target. Yeah. That's why when people come here and make a blend, like, we make it very fast. Yes. And we make it a priority because we want what they blend, we want that to be what they take home with them. Yes. And the whole, legacy distilleries that you do a barrel pick, and then it's 6 to 9 months before it even shows up.
Completely changed. And more than likely it has changed.
Unrecognizable. or they make you do it at this proof point, and it's like that kind of stuff pisses me off. And it's like in people that are new to us that are doing barrel picks, hey, we probably can't do this. I'm like, no, we can do that. Yeah. Well, what about this? Yeah, we can do that too. Yeah, we'll do all of that. and it'll be bottled and ready in less than 2 weeks. Right. And they're probably just taken back, like, what? Yeah. Especially if they're used to dealing with other headache of other stuff. Yes. They don't realize how nimble and fast we are, but that's because we don't we don't have the bureaucracy and we don't have the investors pushing down certain stuff. It's just us making decisions, and we're making decisions based on what's best for the people that are coming here. And so we intentionally build in margin in our schedule to where if we say, yes, you can do a barrel pick here, then we've already got like 2 weeks blocked off to where we're going to try your barrel every day for 2 weeks. And usually within that 2 weeks, we can find a happy spot on when you selected it. We'll draw a sample of it, and then that's what we're trying to beat.
Right.
So if the quality's less than what you picked, then, and we've had to make some phone calls sometimes and say, hey,
it's not ready yet.
It's not ready yet.
Yeah.
And then they're a little bummed, and okay, now timing's not good, or hey, now we can't get it by Christmas. And I just tell them, hey, I think you'll be happy with it if you just trust us on this and let it go. Yeah. And we've had a lot of good feedback after the fact that people say, man, I'm sure glad I listened to you guys, or hey, man, in Tim we trust. Like whenever you say it's ready, just do it.
Yes.
And so yeah, there's not a lot of people that are putting that much emphasis on the quality of the whiskey, and that's what's fun to us. That's what keeps us exciting. If everything was like just large batches and we're throwing it all together, here's batch one and send it out to all the distributors and hope it sells, like that's not what I want to do.
No, I agree. And having been here for almost 2 years now, been around, that's the one thing that I appreciate as a consumer and, just being an observer is that's all you guys are worried about is the quality.
Yep.
You guys have put out a lot of whiskey in the especially last year.
Yep.
But it's all good.
Yep.
It really is. There's not a lot of things in here that I've tasted from you guys. There's a few things that are not my palate.
Yeah, not your swim lane.
But it's still good stuff.
Yep.
And
it's we try to be very diverse and not put out something that we've put out before, which if you would have asked me a couple of years ago, I'd have been like, all right, maybe like 80 different things. Yeah. But we've done over 500 different things, and none of them are similar to anything else. Yeah. And Richard's really gotten good at complementary barrels, rebarreling something.
Okay.
Even rebarreling, if it's a 10-year rye that we pull out of something and it's got these sweet notes, and then he'll take this bourbon, and then this is close, or it's really good whiskey as is, but there's no identifier behind it that makes it unique. Then he'll be like, man, I really think this will be good. Let's transfer it into this barrel. Yes. So we're doing a lot of barrel movement to pick up the flavor profile of another barrel. And it works out more times than not.
Exactly.
Even what I'm drinking now is finished in a buff turkey barrel.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think
this is the passion fruit tea.
Okay,
and the tea notes,
I think I'm drinking the. What am I drinking, Richard?
Oh, Match Made in Heaven.
Match Made in Heaven.
Oh, the bottle of the month.
The peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly,
and it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal. So,
that's a cool one.
And you mentioned the buff turkey because I know that's obviously the last year and a half. That's what a lot of people knew about and everything like that. And you were in at the beginning. You got a bunch of the first few barrels.
Yeah.
You actually had quite a few of the barrels, right? How many did you end up actually having?
40 total.
40 total.
Yep.
Okay. And I know you had mentioned there about you reusing those barrels, and they've been golden, right?
We're still using them a year and a half later.
Yeah. So they're still giving.
They are. Some of them are, not all of them.
Yeah, every barrel comes to a point.
The Rare Hook barrel, the 16-year Rare Hook that we just did the Iron Awakening in.
Right.
I refilled that barrel with the assumption that it was probably neutral, meaning that it's not going to change what you put in there because we've sucked the life out of it.
Correct, yeah.
But when you take the older barrels, that one's 16 years, so if you think about how much the whiskey's gone in and out of the wood and how deep it's penetrated, because we've cut some of those barrels open to make cabinets and stuff out of, Duffy did.
Yeah.
And then it's I was shocked, the whiskey's gone 95% through the stave.
So it's almost it's right on the cusp of
it's in there.
out.
So yes, seriously.
Right.
In some of them, you can see it seeping out.
Yeah. Not at the joint. It's like actually out of in the middle of the stave, it's seeping out.
Yeah, because there'll be weak points throughout,
yeah.
or sometimes you'll see little cracks or something like that from it.
Right.
The weight on it. But it takes a long time for the whiskey to get into the wood, and then once it's in the wood, it really takes a long time for whatever you put in there to not because you're not reaching the same spot, but those flavors are still in there.
Yeah.
So it's been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
Because most of those wild turkey barrels we finished when we figured out like we can do that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
We've used that, and it's kind of changed our mindset on like buying old barrels too. Like even the 18-year-old Barton stuff. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, even did you get one of the Texas pralines?
I did not, but I think I've tried it.
Okay.
And it's
like it added a whole nother dimension to it.
Because you're even reusing the 18-year-old Barton barrels now, right?
Yes. Yeah. So anytime I can dump an older bourbon barrel that has, like I'm finding a complementary whiskey to put in there.
Got it.
And it adds like a viscosity and like a lot of cool stuff that.
Especially because you know what the flavor profile was that came out of it. So you now know what it can give to whatever you're going to put into it.
Yeah, and we usually do a test too, and people are shocked at the test because sometimes maybe you've even been here before, so where we'll put 1 or 2 bottles into an empty barrel and roll it around for like 30 minutes. And granted, there's no like penetration into the wood, but it's grabbing the surface level stuff and basically giving us a preview of what it is. And we've done side-by-sides of the same whiskey, but this one rolled around in the barrel for 30 minutes.
Completely.
And it's like, this one's a showstopper.
Yes.
And it's like, that's when we're like, all right, send it.
Yeah.
Like, fill it up.
Exactly.
So, but that's pretty fun.
Yeah. Now, you've also... You've dabbled into obviously other finishes too. I mean, you did Amarana. You've got
we've done quite a few different weird
rum.
things.
Have you done rum?
We've done rum.
What else?
Honey, maple, different kinds of sherry, port.
Yeah.
The Jacquera cask, which was tough, but I still love that rye that we did that.
Yeah.
But man, that was the hardest finish we've ever done on anything. I mean, I wasted a lot of whiskey trying to make that right, to find that exact thing. And that was probably before your time.
That was before my time. Yeah.
You never got one of those little Jacquera.
Did not.
Yeah, it was, and that was all from, I think Rare Character did a Jacquera finished that somebody brought in and really loved it. And then I had an opportunity to get the barrel on the left over there is the Jacquera.
Okay.
From Brazil,
right?
And it's like, okay, and they use like a 4-year something, and it's like, man, well, let's put it like an 8 or 9 year in there. So
exactly,
and so it's fun to get when people are excited about something, they bring it in, and they're like, Tim, we want to. What can you do? Can you do something like this? And then it's almost like a challenge. Like, I think I can beat that. Yeah, but we're so intentional with the barrels and the profiles, and like even like I'll show you this after it's done, but we're building a pretty cool software to help us manage all of the barrels and the maturation process and how they're going and the notes that they're taking on, and then trying to utilize AI around that and then phase 2 would be to match what you like.
Yes.
So what our members like all have profiles. So when you walk in the door, Chris Kumnick's here. Here's the 7 barrels that you're going to love. And then we go over there and try those 7 barrels.
Look at that.
And then if you don't like something, feed it that information.
Yes.
So there's the data side in me is like, okay, well, how do we waste less time or waste less whiskey and have a higher success ratio on blends and finishing and learn some of the stuff and even talking to my brother like over the weekend in Missouri and he's like, oh well, we can do this and what if we had this like chip that we program the chip and put it in the barrel, and then it's pulling in real time all of these things. And then I was like, yeah, but it doesn't really work that way, because, for the same reason that taking 2 bad whiskeys can make a good whiskey and 2 good whiskeys can make a bad whiskey, when you blend them and you just have to try it, there's no silver bullet, or else people would have done it and figured it out before.
Yeah.
Now,
the big boys would have figured that out.
Absolutely. Now the finding certain lots, and because when we land on a good lot, I always try to find more.
Absolutely.
Like get more of it. Yeah. Like if it blends well and it plays well with others and it's good on its own, like it's a very versatile lot of whiskey. But you change the fill date by 1 week or whatever.
Could be completely different. Yep.
And then the location's different, and then they're backfilling the warehouses, or hey, they ran out of space side barrels, so now they're ISC or something else. Now it's an unrecognizable whiskey, and it's the same mash bill, same distiller, but 2 totally different whiskeys. Absolutely. So the numbers have to match exactly for me to buy more and seek those out.
I got it.
I want to thank Tim for taking some time and sitting down with me for a wonderful interview. That was part 1 of a rather lengthy interview, so to spare your precious time, we will put out part 2 next week. Now, this is the segment I like to call, What is Chris Putting in His Mouth? The dram of the week is from the brilliant mind of Billy Walker and is called the Maple Tour 5-year-old, the Chinkapin one. It's a peated single malt scotch from Glenallachie and Speyside. And here's the box, so you can see. They've matured this whiskey in virgin Missouri Chinkapin oak barrels to evoke a more intense, distinct spiciness and robust tannin structure into the whiskey compared to your normal white oak. While both are members of the white oak family, the Chinkapin is known for higher tannins, a tighter grain, and a more potent, savory, and spicy flavor profile. The 35 ppm peat allows a sweeter style of smoke due to using mainland peat from St. Fergus to kiln the barley. This, along with a lengthy 160-hour fermentation, creates this whiskey with a very, very complex character. From the nose, you get smoldering oak members, burnt licorice and honey, with ginger, butterscotch, and orange peel. The taste brings out cocoa, creme brulee, and toasted almonds with cinnamon, anise, and campfire smoke. The mouthfeel is thick and juicy with a wonderfully long finish. It's a great dram. Worth buying if you can find one. Now, the stick of the week was gifted to me from a friend in Scotland. It is the new in-house developed blend for the Havana House chain in the UK called Cortesano Origen. And here it is, right here. In fact, let me take it out of its wrapper. It's a handmade in the Dominican Republic. It's blended by Paresh Patel. There you go. You can see that. Beautiful cigar. Nice. It's blended by Paresh Patel, the Havana House company director. Has 5 different fillers: a Corojo 99, Habano 2020, Piloto Cubano, Corojo Original, and Habano 92. It also has a Mexican Negro San Andres binder and a Corojo 99 wrapper. The cigar is well made, has a beautiful band, as you saw from the video, to wrap up its pretty parts. The beginning opens up nicely with very medium flavors, including toasted nuts and salted caramel sweetness. The middle gets a bit more complex with more body. It shifts from sweetness to a more earthy, rich, textured cocoa and nuts. The end brings out even more earthiness, but the sweetness changes to a dried fruit. The draw was spot on throughout, and other than a few minor touch-ups, the burn was excellent with a nice amount of smoke production. All in all, wonderful smoke. I will attempt to find more while in the UK in the next few weeks. Now, as always, I want to thank you for joining me on this amazing journey to learn all that I can about these 3 amazing industries. I hope that you were able to learn something new from this episode, but more importantly, I hope that you were entertained and will continue to listen or watch the program moving forward. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, like the video, and leave comments. Please, please, please leave comments if you have anything to say about what you see on the video. Even if it's correcting me on something, because I'm not perfect and I don't know everything about all these industries. So, also, please spread the word to your friends and family. I will always, always, always love having new followers. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. If you wouldn't mind, please leave a review, as that helps the algorithm help other people find the channel. Also, please let me know of any ideas that you'd like to hear about in upcoming episodes, and I will see what I can conjure up. I will see you next week on the Whisky and Smoke News Network, and remember, please drink and smoke responsibly. Have a great day.